Hello and welcome to this episode of our Decan Walk, where Ant and I are walking the zodiac in the 10-day slices of each sign. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, the way this works is that we're two artists that are creating tarot as we walk the zodiac, and each 10-day slice of each sign has a minor arcana card associated with it. So we're sharing our artwork for each minor arcana card as we walk, and we reveal our two very different types of art. Ant does beautiful detailed graphite artwork, and I create colourful wave mandalas that are based on the astrology chart. And the chart I use is the very first step into each decan. So we go through the artwork. Ant starts off with his art, then I will share my art as well as talk about the astrology, the chart that I've used to create my mandalas. Then we talk about the typical associations and meanings of the card, as well as our experience, our lived experience of the decan that's just gone. And last but not least, we each choose a song to represent the card, and we share the song and the reason why we've chosen the song. That's it. That's how we go through each part of our walk. Here we are, we have reached Cancer season, and the first decan of Cancer is represented by the Two of Cups. So the first decan of Cancer is typically between the 21st of June and the 1st of July. We're going to look at Ant's artwork, and he's going to tell us what is behind this piece of art to represent the Two of Cups.
We have the Two of Cups. What a lovely energy and what a lovely decan to be in. This was a very crazy energy to be in for me. I felt, I definitely knew I was in Cancer season, that's for sure. My emotional spectrum was kind of really at the high end, whereby I was feeling so much, which I'll go into a bit more later. But I brought to this card a lot of emotion with me. The Two of Cups represents that unity, the union, and the that kind of molded energy, that solidified understanding, that solidified feeling of the heart. For me personally, it's one of those cards. Well, I mean, all cards are in this respect are the same, but when you're actually in work with your mind and you understand the energies that you're in and you work them to a positive aspect, that's where the magic happens. That's where we can move mountains in our minds and our hearts, and we can create the environment and the relationships that we want. And this isn't only about love in relationships. This can donate relationship to self, which is far more important, and which is literally the aspect or the propulsion that brings you to this card if involved with someone else, if this relates to a relationship. But it can also relate to your relationship with finances, your relationship with society, relatives, friends, your loved one, yourself, as I said. It's not just represented as a love relationship. However, when I was drawing this card, I wanted really to reflect the freedom of the heart, the freedom of the soul, and the freedom of the mind, and the allowing. So I wanted the cups simplistic. I didn't want them to be the feature of this card, if you like, with lots of, I could have gone and done some embossing, engraving detail into the cups and made them look wonderful. but that they speak for themselves. They are the cup of emotion. They are the cup of knowledge. They're the water. They are the wonderful vessel. I just wanted a little detail in there just to signify, for instance, the hearts are at the front of these cups. Now, the hearts, although this is representative of let's say, a loving card, with all that love emotion and what have you, the hearts will remain on the cups throughout the whole suit. Their hearts representing emotions. And every situation, if you look into your heart on things and bring in your exercised concepts of reality, if you like, you see that everything is connected to the heart. The heart and the brain are the two spearheads of any healing, any kind of motion that brings you to that overall feeling of what this card represents. So butterflies coming out of the cup, the butterflies represent freedom. They represent the ability to almost leave a situation and fly off into your abundance, fly off into what you've been creating or wishing for or working towards. And I love the effect the butterflies have. They really pop from what you're seeing. The first vision I look at is those butterflies, and they're just flying out. The fencing along the sides of the road here, you will notice that there's no wires, no barbed wire, nothing caging you in, nothing suggesting that you're not allowed to go off path, if you like. But here I wanted to give the vision of freedom, so you can literally walk up either side of these hills and venture to where you want and let the world take you where it takes you. You will see also that the kind of, let's say, landscape is very connected to other cards in this deck, where I've used the landscape to suggest that the journeyer is moving forward and on his way. And I wanted to bring that in, and I wanted to tie it in with other cards. So it's a reminder that the journeyer is still on his journey and he's going forth, but now he has so much freedom, or she, so much freedom of expression, and he's learned so much about his heart and who he is. And I've captured every element that I want to capture in this drawing. Now, I didn't want it blank. The sky itself, you have dark tones and you have light tones, and I love that because I wanted to bring in the dark and the light, the negative, the positive, and the contrast, the duality. And that's what's needed in every situation, whether it's energetic or conscious thinking. You have to have that balance of positive, negative, masculine, feminine, which is very prominent in this drawing. It's a wonderful card, and I can't wait to see how the rendering comes out on this. I did have a fear that my cups were possibly too big and that you may drown out the not you drown out, but the rendering of your work could possibly take over. And so I'm intrigued to see what you've done with this, Liyanne.
When I first opened this, so usually I will open your drawing and then I'm probably, midway or still working on the light songs. This time I deliberately didn't pay any attention to the message with the image in there. I ignored it until the very end, and then I opened it, and it immediately brought a smile to my face. And I don't know if you've ever received these cards or a card where you can get like a paper butterfly and put it inside so that when you open the card, a butterfly flies out, right? The opening of this image had a similar effect on me because the first thing I saw was the butterflies, and it just immediately brought a smile to my face. Yeah, love it. And I actually really love the goblets, the cups, that they are mainly plain. Yeah, I really, really like the way you've represented them. and leaving room for the light song to come in. Your curiosity will be satisfied soon. Now we're going to go on to the light songs, the artwork that comes from the astrology. So here they are. The one at the bottom is Earth and the one at the top is the cosmos. So planetary and zodiacal light songs that are from this chart. Venus is the sub-ruler. The ruler of Cancer is the moon. The sub-ruler for this decan is Venus. So that's where I start. She had no aspects to any other planet, no aspects going on when the sun hit 0 degrees of Cancer, which is the point I choose for the chart. The only aspect she has, which is non-typical, is what's called a declination, parallel with the moon, the ruler of Cancer, by just 42 minutes. So the parallel declination is pretty much like a conjunction, i.e. the two planetary bodies are occupying the same space. So they're occupying the same space north or south of the equator. Then I wanted to look at, what pattern are we going to see? So I looked for objects that were occupying 15 degrees. And I found Orcus and Ganymede were occupying 15 degrees of Cancer and Virgo, making what is called a minor trine, which is a flowing, harmonious energy. And Ganymede for Ant and me is very relevant because Ganymede was the son of the king and queen of Troy, who was I guess commandeered by Zeus to become the cup-bearer for the gods, the cup-bearer with the elixir of youth being inside the cup. So very appropriate that this is a cups card, and we've got Ganymede at the point of this minor trine. And then we have Orcus. Orcus is very, I guess it's a very underworld kind of energy, very about truth. And if anyone breaks a oath, then you have Orcus to answer to. And I guess when it comes to like a card that is to do with one-to-one relationships, and not always, but includes romantic one-to-one relationships, there's usually oaths of the heart, an oath, whether official or unspoken, when people are in relationship with one another. So again, appropriate energies there with Orcus, Ganymede, and Venus, the goddess of love. That is the pattern, which I've called the power of young love triangle, because Ganymede was well known to be a very beautiful young man, which was the whole reason that Zeus commandeered him to go and become the cupbearer in the first place, because he was very nice to look at. From here, I draw what I call the breath lines of energy between the objects, in this case Venus, Ganymede and Orcus. And the moon is included there as well in the pool of light because of that declination with Venus. And here they are, the full light songs side by side. And now are you ready, Ant, to see how this appears on the cups.
Yeah. Opposite to what I was expecting. I was expecting your rendering to literally dominate these cups, but the way that they have sat and literally brought these cups to life, it really has. It's as though each cup holds a message, holds an energy, holds a separate meaning, if you like, that can join and produce one energy. It's absolutely beautiful. Beautiful card.
You know, it could have easily dominated more than it is. It just so happens because of the pattern, right? Because the pattern is small, right? It doesn't take up the whole circle. It means that there's breathing space for the middle of the cup, which, I mean, this reminds me of some hand-blown wine glasses that I have had in the past, where they have patterns, you know, on them like this. I don't think I've got those glasses anymore, but yes, I've definitely had glasses that look very similar to this, where they've got, you know, glasswork, coloured glasswork, very reminiscent of these, what these goblets look like now with the LightSong being added to them.
This card was extremely personal to me throughout the energies, throughout the Decan. But what makes it even more personal, which I failed to see coming, are the colours. So I live in Ireland, and we obviously have the tricolours, the orange, green, and gold. But I live in a county called Wexford, and the Wexford colours are purple and yellow. So this is a combination. It's literally a combination of my of where I reside, and it's just put the cherry on the cake for me for this card. I think it's absolutely stunningly beautiful. I wasn't expecting the cups to be so striking, and your rendering has really brought this to life. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's up there with one of my favorites, and now they're all one of my favorites.
I have to say that this is now up there with one of my favorites of the deck so far as well. I mean, I'm sure we're going to add others to it before we're done, but yes, this is definitely in the top 3 for sure, because butterflies have been one of my emblems for the longest, you know, especially from my late teens to even up as late as my early 40s. The butterfly was a very, very much a personal totem and emblem. And I have a tattoo that is from my belly button towards flying towards the left, and it's a cosmic butterfly that's on my midriff, which I'll include an image of in here. Yes, it's a symbol, like I say, a personal totem of mine.
I also have a butterfly tattoo, and it's on my upper leg of my left leg, and I tattooed it myself. And it is a monarch butterfly, and that's not why I drew the monarchs in this drawing. I just love the monarch butterfly. I think it's beautiful, but it's purple, and it has slight hints of teal in there, which not far off the green in this card. So it's just crazy that the colours in the card are actually on a monarch butterfly that is on my leg that I tattooed for myself, and obviously your tattoos as well. Yeah, I love it. Little
Yeah.
subtle synchronicities I love.
Yes, and I had no clue that you also had a butterfly tattoo. Who go figure, hey?
Mm.
Go
For
figure.
me, it's a representation of when my awakening. It's from the chrysalis state into that bursting out into the universe.
I got mine done just before, probably about 12 months before I left New Zealand to go live in the UK. So it was also connected to transformation and transcendence, I guess, from the life I was in to the life I was going to, far, far, far away from home. And now I'm back 23 years later.
You need another tattoo of a butterfly flying in the other direction, now, Liyanne.
Maybe. I think it will be a dragonfly this time, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm very pleased that you're pleased with how this came out, because it's such a personally meaningful card for you. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's also personally meaningful for me because my moon is in Cancer and in the first decan of Cancer. So this is my moon card. So thank you, Ant, for putting butterflies on my moon card. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now we're going to talk about how we experienced this decan, and this is the artwork that is available. If you have this card as meaningful to you, and if you like the artwork, then you can actually purchase this. The link will be in the description for the video. So we're just going to touch on the typical significations for this card, and then I'm going to hand over to Ant to talk about how he experienced this decan, this first decan of Cancer. Here is the Waite-Smith interpretation for this card, and it's all about, love, relationships, union, concord, sympathy, the interrelation of the sexes. Yes, I love how the the English that is used for Waite-Smith is very of its time. Nature, but by which nature is sanctified. Yes. Okay. And then I also include the Druid craft, love, healing, meeting of hearts, reconciliation. And I really love the point they make about using the power of love to heal, to engender cooperation, or to effect reconciliation. To take the meaning a bit wider. And another thing, when it talks about union of opposites or polarities, I just wanted to reflect on something that I resonated with recently, and that is when we talk about opposites in astrology, oppositions, like an opposition is the planet directly opposite the other planet. And that got reframed for me as complementary, just like you have complementary colours. And I thought that was a really great reframe of an opposition. Rather than thinking about it as an opposition, think about it as the complementary sign or influence, if you're talking astrology. That really resonated for me because one of the main features in my chart is there's about 3-4 oppositions. That's a very strong feature. So now I can think of them as complementary energies. So down here I have the period of time that is typically for this first decan of Cancer, 21st of June to the 1st of July. And now we're going to hear from Ant. How did you find this decan, and how did you experience the first decan of Cancer?
Emotionally, I was certainly in the energy, that Cancerian energy. So I have a very strong mind, and I'm very open with my emotions. Um, it is laughable, but during this decade, I mean, there were a few different energies, same energies, but in different aspects. But I just felt flooded with emotion to the point where I was laughing at myself, swearing at myself. You're just, this is ridiculous. The slightest little thing that was heartfelt to me brought me to tears, and it could be something so ridiculous. Yeah, I can't even express. There was so one specific day, I must have cried about 20, 25 times just from feeling, whether it's an emotion of someone's happiness, whether I'm watching something on a documentary, or anything that came into my zone that had any emotion attached to it would set me off. So in that kind of realm of energy, it was brought into my relationship aspects, where me and my partner, we had the most beautiful conversation that lasted hours and hours, and everything came to the forefront of how we both felt and what we wanted, and what we felt would move us forward in the energies that we were in, and cleared everything out. And it was just the most transparent, loving energy I think I've ever experienced, and it brought so much. I mean, I'm in a strong relationship anyway, but like any relationship, you do have those moments or periods of uncertainty in certain things and certain aspects, and that's not me. I like everything in its place, not in a controlling manner, but in a way that um, I know I have that for myself, so I bring it in to stabilize any situation, really. Yeah, this Decan was very, very emotional. It was extremely empowering, and it was extremely positive, loving, and with so much forward movement and clarity. And it was just a lovely period to be in. And I think that's why I love the drawing this card so much, is because of the, I want to say, it was almost euphoric. The emotions, feeling the emotions that I was feeling. There was zero negativity. It was just so much joy and peace in my heart and in my mind and in my soul. It was just wonderful. It was a learned experience. And as I say, my emotions, I just laughed at them in the end. I thought, how can a 49-year-old man be sat here and brought to tears by, let's say, for example, um, a child who said something so loving to their parent on a documentary, or if anything that I was doing, it would just bring me to tears. It was lovely. I really loved it. And yeah, if only we could be in that Deccan forever, Liyanne, constant. Life would be lovely. But yeah, that is my experience of this Deccan. And yours?
I didn't really experience it. I don't feel like I experienced it directly, other than um, speaking of monarch butterflies, I did see a number of monarch butterflies during this Decan. First time I've seen them for a little while. And I would say mine was more of an internal, at the beginning, you talked about it being just as much about the relationship with yourself. So I think it was more healthy, uh, improving the healthy relationship with myself, and therefore the relationships with others during this Decan. And because, you know, if you go into relating with others and you don't fully value yourself, then that affects the relating with the other, very much so. So yes, I would say on reflection, it was I felt this Decan and the significations of it more internally. So I have, you know, I shared the little affirmation cards for one of our other ones, and the one for this card is I attract and maintain healthy and positive relationships. So I would say that yes, I did experience that. I had to, you know, have during this Decan, I had to have what would have previously been, I would have approached it as a difficult conversation. And yet, because I reframed and went into it with a healthy mindset, it was a really beautiful conversation. Now that I'm thinking about it, that is how this Decan expressed itself for me in my life. So now I want to know from you, what song did you choose for this card, and why did you choose the song?
This week, Liyanne, I went with a Bill Withers song called The Two of Us. And it was the first song that came into my arena in my mind as soon as I knew we were doing this card. And it never left. So being in the energy of just the two of us, me and my partner, like ready to take on the world, as it were, it just seemed so fitting. And I love the song, and I love the period that the song comes from. There's not a lot more to add to that other than just the two.
I see the crystal raindrops fall, and the beauty of it all is when the sun comes shining through to make those rainbows in my mind. When I think of you sometime, and I want to spend some time with you, just the two of us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
Just the two of us, building castles in the sky. Just the two of us, you and I. We look for love, no time for tears. Wasted water's all that is, and it don't make no flowers grow. Good things might come to those who wait, but not for those who wait too late. We gotta go for all we know. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
Just the two of us. Building them castles in the sky. Just the two of us. You and
I couldn't help but smile. Someone had to. Poor old Bill Withers doesn't seem very emotionally connected to the bless him.
He's got the right hump face singing that song, I have to say, Ant.
I've seen happier people waiting to see the doctor, Liyanne. Bless him. But it doesn't take away from the songs.
I was laughing for that reason. I'm like, oh, he wants to tell his face that it's, you know, building castles in the sky. Looks like he's wanting to dig a grave, right? The way he looks. You can't be on a good day every day, you know.
No.
Maybe he had stuff going on when he had to do that show. You just don't know, do you?
Exactly.
but it doesn't take away from the fact that it is a beautiful song. Love it.
What's your song?
Well, as I think I shared with you, the idea for choosing songs came from a group that I was in for over 2 years, where we would choose a song for each placement in our astrology chart. So my song is my moon song. This is the song I chose for my moon, to represent my moon, and I will share a little bit of writing that I did at the time when I chose the song for that group, because we would get together, share our songs, and go into, you know, the reason why the song was chosen to represent the placement in our chart. So I'm going to share the song first, and then I'll speak to the why afterwards.
Love is a verb, love is a doing word, fearless on my breath. Gentle impulsion shakes me, makes me lighter, fearless on my breath. Teardrop on the fire, fearless on my breath.
Love is a verb, love is a doing word. For sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. This was a little bit of what I shared with the group in choosing the song Teardrop. The song is by Massive Attack, and this is a cover that I've chosen that's done by Jones. So I was just 1 year old when my mother left me and my sister, who was only 2, to be brought up by my father. So the abandonment wound is very much part of my, I guess, soul lesson for this lifetime. So here's what I wrote. I've done much work to truly forgive my mother, her abandonment. It was not easy and had many layers. Forgiving myself has been even more so. The journey and lessons in love, self-love in particular, is my moon's greatest challenge and greatest gift. The lilting performance of Massive Attack's Teardrop, covered by Jones, is my moon's anthem, to myself and to others. There is great strength in being fearless enough to give air, voice, and water, tears, to your wounds so they can heal with deep love for yourself and others. So the lyrics are these, as I said. Love, love is a verb. Love is a doing word. Fearless on my breath. Gentle impulsion shakes me, makes me lighter. Fearless on my breath. And the image is actually a screenshot from the Massive Attack video for this song, which I found I didn't realize until I went looking for this chat with you, and I didn't realize that the Massive Attack video is actually of a baby in the womb. So very relevant to my moon and song choice for my moon song. That's my song, and that's the reason why.
I love the simplicity of the song. 3 instruments, the xylophone, the tapping box, and her vocals together come so simple, so impactful. I love it.
Yes, I loved it too. I don't even know how I came across this version of the song. Actually, tell a big fat lie. I do know how, because I subscribe to the Colours. Colours is like a music, I guess you could say, channel where they break new artists. So this came up on the Colours show. So anyone out there that loves music, I would highly, highly recommend tuning in to Colours, Colours, the American spelling, Colours Studio. I'm pretty sure you will find, if you just pop that into YouTube, the Colours Studio channel should come up. Yeah, very worth tuning into.
Great week, great session, great card.
Okay.
No more to.
Yes, and for those tuning in, if you have a song for the Two of Cups, please share with us. Or if you've got any feedback on our song choices, or even, you know, our experience of the card or the artwork, share that with us too. But for now, that's the end of this session for the first Decan of Cancer and the card, the Two of Cups. With so much love from my heart's light to yours. Bye for now.
Love and light.